Hi, this is Phil Fisher, and my talk today is all about measuring impact in early childhood, especially for the most vulnerable children and families. This is something where we really have to up our game because historically we haven't been able to do a good enough job in terms of the quality of measurement and evaluation in early childhood. We really need to get better at understanding what works, on what basis we should invest in, adopt, and implement strategies and programs to improve outcomes in early childhood. Basically, in short, we really need to reframe the journey towards what we mean by evidence of impact in early childhood. I want to start by making clear that when we talk about outcomes in early childhood, we're of course talking about children and measures of things like early literacy and reading, but also social emotional well-being and indicators of health. In many cases, programs also focus on adults, on the adults in child's lives and their well-being and their skills. So we're thinking about parents, fathers and mothers. We're also thinking about childcare providers and others who take care of children during the day. And then, of course, we also need to think about relational health, the relationships between children and significant adults in their lives. In short, when we think about evidence, it's really important that we get more clear about specifically what early childhood programs are trying to change and zero in on those kinds of things for measurement. Our team at the University of Oregon Center for Translational Neuroscience has been focused on questions like this for some time. And when we consider how the field has evolved, we can identify really three distinct eras. Originally, people really had very little way of knowing whether programs worked or not, other than kind of anecdotal evidence or personal impressions, what people have sometimes referred to as practice-based evidence. More recently, in the last several decades, people have moved much more towards this concept of evidence-based programs, in which evaluation studies would kind of yield one of two outcomes. Either the program worked or it didn't. Within this way of thinking about things, program evaluation becomes kind of like a race. It starts when you begin collecting data on as many things as you might be able to measure within your budget that you think might change. And it ends when you have proof that your program works, in which case the next step is to scale it. Or alternatively, it might end when your evidence comes up short. And in that case, it's problematic because you might not have any kind of feedback loop into your program to really figure out how to make changes and run the race again. But we've been really trying to reconceptualize the concept or the idea of how program evaluation works. And to support this, we've developed something called the Impact Measures Repository. Impact stands for Integrated Measurement, Program Assessment, and Collaboration Tools. And we see a future where this kind of treasure chest of measures and the technical assistance we provide alongside it is a field-wide resource to inform and to educate various stakeholders in early childhood. We're talking about funders, investors, academic researchers and practitioners, policymakers and social entrepreneurs. The idea being that we're going to increase shared measurement and program precision. And that's the kind of thinking that we believe will get us closer and more quickly to improving the outcomes of educational, social service, and health systems, especially for children in the most vulnerable programs. In short, we're really trying to demystify the notion that there's a single measure or process in program evaluation that will quantify the value of a product or a project. And rather, we believe that once we have this deep repository of multiple measures, then we'll finally have the tools for funders and social entrepreneurs to align the impact goals that they have with program assessment kind of processes that will precisely fine-tune their ability to measure outcomes over time and really refine the overall field so that you can zero in on impact at scale with more common measures. We see this new process as being less having a clear beginning and end, but rather as an ongoing process of learning in which the real kind of benefits and rewards are the knowledge and insight and improvements that get obtained along the way. I want to make it clear that this process doesn't have to be a budget buster and break the bank. It does require persistence, and it requires also patience for reflection as the program evaluation improvement evolves over time. Early childhood funders should really consider as part of this a growing evaluation funding stream to embed in their grant making so that the persistence process becomes more of the norm, and we really focus on program improvement over time. We imagine an ECD grant making and impact investment world in which we're no longer shooting at blind targets, but instead we know what works for whom and why, and we have a new generation of innovative programs as well as improved existing programs that can make real and measurable difference in the lives of children and families. Thank you.